Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I have my face so shiny. I'm like an angel. In the scriptures, the angels and the holy man's faces were shining. Not the case here. It's just the sun. Anyway, I have an article here, but before that, let me tell you about when we were kids in Romania. Probably that happened in other countries as well. And you were, boys I'm talking about, we're about to fight one another. But we're not getting to the fight, we're just threatening one another. And we were telling the other person, the other kid, what we will do to that kid. And they will say, well, I'm going to do this to you. The kid says, yeah, I'm going to bring my brother. Oh, yeah, I'm going to bring my uncle. Oh, no, I'm going to bring my dad. Well, I'm going to bring my grandfather. My grandfather worked for the army and he's gonna bring the whole army to fight you. Well, my great-grandfather worked for the police, so he's gonna bring the police if he were alive, and so on. So that's how I see right now the fight between world leaders in this kind of words. We're gonna do this to you. No, we're gonna do this to you. No, we're gonna win. We're gonna do this. Exactly like kids. Well, let's laugh a little bit, I guess. This article comes, I have two articles with the same, dealing with the same issue. One is from Republic World and the other one I think is from Reuters, my friends. Yeah. And the title it's from today, July 19th. The one from Republic World sounds like this. Russia's ex-president Dmitry Medvedev claims Moscow will set terms for peace in Ukraine. That's one. And then the other one says this. Russia says peace in Ukraine will be on its terms, strikes multiple targets. Basically the same thing. But what we have here is, I'm going to start with the Republic World, saying this. As the battle continues in East Europe, former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev claimed that Moscow, and I'm quoting, will achieve all its goals in the war in Ukraine. As the brutal war in East Europe continues to escalate beyond 145 days, Russian efforts to devastate Ukraine territory have increased manifold. As the battle continues as the Eastern Front line, former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev on Tuesday claimed that Moscow will achieve all its goals in the war against Ukraine. Talking to Telegram, Medvedev also stated that Moscow will draft the terms of the peace deal required for ceasing the war. And I'm quoting Medvedev. Russia will achieve all its goals. There will be peace on our terms. He said that. Currently, the deputy of Russia's Security Council, Medvedev, has become increasingly assertive and critical of the West since the beginning of the war in February 24th. Meanwhile, Russian President Vladimir Putin on Tuesday reached Iran for a convention on Syrian conflict. He is expected to meet with his Turkish and Iranian counterparts Recep Erdogan and Ebrahim Raisi, respectively. This comes at a time when the West accuses Tehran of delivering drones to Russia for its war in Ukraine, an allegation that Iran has repeatedly denied. So let's go back to the article that comes from Reuters and see what they bark around. So it says here, ex-Russian president says peace will be on its Moscow's terms, yes. Says Russia will achieve all its aims. UK says Russia's offensive stuttering. All right, so a senior Russian security official told on Tuesday that the peace in Ukraine, when it came, would be on Moscow's terms as Russian forces struck targets across the country with missiles even as their group offensive stuttered. More than 2 weeks have passed since Russia's last major territorial gain, but they said they will have some rest, right? Some pause. Capturing the eastern Ukraine city of Lysychansk, and Ukraine's General Army Staff said on Tuesday that Moscow's forces were busy shorting up their positions in recent seized territory and mounting limited but unsuccessful ground assaults in numerous different locations. And now Dmitry Medvedev said Russia, he said that struck a defiant tone though, signaling that Moscow was ready to do whatever it took in order to prevail. And I'm quoting, Russia will achieve with all its goals. There will be peace on our terms, Medvedev said. He has become increasingly hawkish in his criticism of the West since Russia sent its tens of thousands of troops into Ukraine. That's true. He was always like milder in his accusations or even statements, but I don't know what happened here. It says here the British Ministry of Defense, which supports Kiev, said on Thursday it believes Russian forces were unable to advance swiftly due to personnel shortages. And I made a video with what the British intelligence says about Russia being incapable of using advanced power or firepower or something like that. And it says, while Russia may still make further territorial gains, their operation tempo and rate of advancement decreased. Well, slowed down. And then we have here the Russians are using, they claim, the Western intelligence apparatus claims that the Russians now they switch tactic, and could be true, which is using missiles and rockets mostly, and probably that's why they think, or they claim, or maybe they have the information that the Russians are lacking personnel, are depleted. So it says here, in a now familiar pattern, Russian missiles on Tuesday slammed into targets across Ukraine. At least one person was killed in a missile strike. I mean, Russian missiles slammed into targets, and at least one person was killed. What did they hit? Cows? Anyway, and then he says is that building in a town, obviously they just hit where they're not supposed to. It's unbelievable. These guys make territorial gains, the Russians I'm talking, and these guys are claiming that they miss targets. They don't do this, they don't do that, they're losing, they don't have the capability. So far as Donald Trump told, what's his name, Jeb Bush in one of his debates, well, so far I'm winning. So the same here, so far they're winning. So I don't know what, I mean, and in a war, you know, it's ups and downs. Just remember, for instance, any kind of war. I mean, unless it's a swift war. Let's get France, for instance, Germany and France. Well, in 3 weeks they got to Paris, right? That 3 weeks took the Germans blitzkrieg to go through the lower lands and avoid the Maginot line. But nevertheless, it's not Maginot here. It's just I predict that in 2 weeks at the most, I leave it 2 weeks. In 2 weeks we will know if this is true, or is just the front will break and the Russians let loose. But I know let loose up to what, how far. But we'll see. Maybe it's right now it's in between. You don't know where it's at, or maybe the Russians switch tactic, or maybe we're not informed about what the Russians actually are maneuvering. And we don't know if we have 3,000 tanks going to the right or to the left. I'm just exaggerating, obviously, but they make the narrative however they want it to be. Just the other video I explained how this information works and how they don't have to talk to one another. It's the interest, and when you have the same interest with the other guy, you guys are going to adjust your statements according to your interest, and the people from outside will say, oh, these guys they talk to one another. No, it's just we follow the same interest, and obviously we keep our mouth shut when it's about that, and we talk in a certain way when we have to talk. So the same here. The mass media maybe makes a certain narrative because the politicians have to make a certain narrative for the population and for the rest of the world, thinking that, oh my God, yeah, there is this, or maybe that's the way it is. I'm not certain. I don't know. Obviously, I'm just reading what these guys are saying, trying to analyze, reading a lot of news, but as I said, maybe a week, between a week and 2, maximum 2 weeks, we find out what's going on here. That's my prediction. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.